Hey, welcome back, everybody. So here we are to the most exciting week in the regular season in the LOC format. It's Flex 14 for LOC Dynasty in its third year.
Yeah, Flex Week 14. I mean, I love Flex Week. You see when people get a chance, they might have had one extra loss, but they're still fighting. They beat the person who's in first place of the division. And they get a shot at the division title. So, and it makes it more fun. It makes it entertaining, and this is why one of the reasons LOC is a great league, or even the best league, maybe.
Agree.
All right, give me one. I gotta save the video so I can go on to the next screen. All right, next up we have Bare Naked Ladies, 3-10, ranked 15th. This is a pride game versus Unnecessary Roughness, 4-9, also in pride game. And looking at the two teams, I really thought Joshua's team was gonna be a lot better than they were. I thought he actually had a shot to make the playoffs, in my opinion. And I think his team just got injured, and this is where he's at. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Unnecessary Roughness. I think he has a fair amount of points for there, and the thing is he thought he was better than he was. But again, AB's let him down here late in the year. Again, I think he set himself nicely making that trade to get Michael Thomas if he comes back next year, which I know he will. So watch out for Unnecessary Roughness next year. I think it's going to be his year. These two teams, just so you're aware, are one of, I think it's only 6, but let me just double check here. Actually, there's only 4 teams now that have not made the playoffs in Dynasty history, and these are 2 of them. So, and once again, they're not going to make the playoffs, so they're going to continue that streak as one of those 4 teams.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to think about, if somehow Philly Miracle Man make the playoffs or win this week, can Joshua be part of the Hugh Jackson Award?
He very well could be. There's no doubt about it, especially if he loses the Fighting Geese in the LOC. He doesn't make the playoffs. At least you can say you have a playoff team on your resume. And I think that's going to make a big difference and should make a big difference for people voting. I got Roughness winning this one.
As do I. Next up, the horrible Philly Miracle Men, 1-12. They did say that they were on a 2-year rebuild here. Pride game, 5-game losing streak. They almost won last week. I want to point that out versus Curly Lamborghini, who's 5-8. He's definitely not ranked number 2 in the division, or the league, I should say. Don't know what that's about, but he's also in the pride game.
Oh yeah, I forgot to update those rankings there, so my bad on Dynasty. But the big thing here for Curly Lamborghini, so I just shared the fun fact of 4 teams that have never made the playoffs. There are 4 teams that have made the playoffs in the 2-year history we've been in. Curly Lamborghini's one of them. He's not going to make the playoffs this year. Likely Losers was another. He's not going to make the playoffs this year. No More was another. He's not going to make the playoffs this year. And I'll reveal later on here in the show who is the team that will have made the playoffs every year since we've been in Dynasty history. I'm picking Curly Lamborghini to win this one because your team sucks.
That it does. And I will gladly take that one. Now, next year when I have 2 quarterbacks, you guys better watch out because Philly Miracle Men are coming back for you.
We'll see how good Deshaun Watson comes back. We've seen guys take years off before, Le'Veon Bell, and come back and they're a shadow of their former self.
That's very true as well. Very true. Well, I'll have to send him some people, give him massages or something. Next up, you have Optimus Prime 4-9. He's on 1-game winning streak. He's also in a pride game versus Chris and No More 3-10. He's also in a pride game as well.
So Justin Anonymous Prime, I think, is a heavy candidate for the Hugh Jackson Award as well. If you look at Dynasty, he's a bum. If you look at the LOC, granted, again, I think this should be part of the voting. He did take over LE Island, but still only 5-8 in LOC, not a winning record in either league. It's been piss poor league and in terms of his management. Chris and No More, let's not forget, champion first year, 2nd place last year. 9 straight losses looking at this year. Absolute turnaround for No More and Likely Losers. The 2 teams that were in the finals last year, straight up bums this year. I still got Kristen No More winning this one, ending the losing streak to end the year off.
You're right. And the reason we won't talk about Chris and No More and Hugh Jackson is because he is 9-4 in tier 2, and he definitely is going to make the playoffs there. And I also have Chris and No More winning this one easily as well. Next up, we have Bolt Up, 6-7 in 8th place, apparently, or maybe not, who knows, versus Stewart and Likely Losers, 3-10.
Worst title defense probably ever, I would think. And we'll look back at this one in history to obviously 7 years from now when we have 10 years in. Was this the worst title defense ever? But it's definitely gonna look like that here for a while. Bolt Up, let's face it, Jalen Hurts going down last week for Lucas might have cost him the playoffs. So you got that on him, Sean. And who knows, maybe Minshew is going to be the starter moving forward, where that trade's going to look a lot more attractive for you guys. Likely Losers also knocked Lucas out of the playoffs 2 weeks ago. So this is a bit of a revenge game. It's a tough one. I'm going to give it to Lucas just because he's my buddy.
Yeah, I mean, another thing to think about is, Stewart. I'm in tier 2. He's playing against Kenji Bucks here, and if he loses there, he's also in contention for the Hugh Jackson Award as well. And looking at Dynasty, for Likely Losers and Bolt Up, it's actually going to be a tough one for me to pick. I think Bolt Up is going to win. I think Hurts might come back and play this. Well, actually, he's on a bye this week, so he can't come back and play. But he might come back week 15 if Bolt Up can somehow make the playoffs. I think he's 6-7. He's actually in 9th place, not 8th place for that one. And it's going to be close, but I'm going to go with Bolt Up as well.
Yeah, just so you know, he can't make the playoffs. The 8 teams are already decided.
Perfect. There you go. Next up, we got Sabatica Spartan, 7-6. He's ranked 8th. He's on a 3-game winning streak, and he is kind of happy that he won last week because it was a close one. Versus Orange Crushy, who is 10-4. He ranked 4th, and he's gearing up for the playoffs. And I will always root for Crushy to win just because he has a cool nickname of Crushy.
And he's also been pretty damn good team here recently. 2 straight division titles in that same division that he plays, Sabatica Spartans. The lifetime career record between these 2 teams is 3-3. So it's been back and forth matchup between the 2. Here's the thing. So when I scheduled me versus my brother, I didn't realize that even if I beat my brother, it could revert to points 4, which would then mean I still don't win first place, which means my brother would. And what it means is it's put me in a scenario where if I lose and Crush wins and Vlad Jr. wins, I'm playing Bills Mafia round 1. So I might have screwed myself right over there in the scheduling. But I think Sabatica Spartans is going to get an upset here. That's my true belief. It's only because I believe Tua and the Dolphins are on the bye for Orange Crush, and not having that second quarterback is going to be the difference. And I think Sabatica Spartans gets the upset here and makes it so I don't have to play Bills Mafia. You better win, Doosan.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a close one looking at the 2 teams. I don't know. Honestly, I think it's going to be close, and I'll go Spartans as well just because NFL.com tells me to. Next up, we have Zebras, 8-5 versus Bills Mafia at 10-3. And Bills Mafia, since we're talking about Bills Mafia, he is ranked 2nd in points 4. He is, I believe, 30. Actually, let's just take an actual look. He is 39.19 points behind Randall Flag Football in the points 4 here. So he's definitely trying to get that. And he is also behind your brother in the Ming division. So he's hoping to score a lot more points than your brother this week and that your brother loses. And maybe he can make the title. I actually don't know what the record is between the 2 for the title.
Yeah, he wouldn't get it. So his only hope is to get points 4 money at this point, to get at least fees free for next year. And that's one that's worth watching. I think he was in first last week, and then my brother put up some huge numbers. So it's going to be fun to watch. Personally, out of the 8 teams making the playoffs, I hate to say this, but Susie is by far the biggest pretender out of the 8. I think she's going to be an easy one and done for whoever plays her. Again, it's just because she's carried one quarterback all season long with Jimmy G and Trey Lance. Trey Lance is the future there. We all know it. But obviously it's going to take a year before she can start using him. And she's also scored some injuries here late. One injury I think recently was Steele for her. Robert Woods went down. Robert Tanyan went down. It's a joke for Zebras. Easy win for Bills Mafia. He's locked in as the 5th seed, and I wouldn't want to play him as the 4th seed because it's just not an easy win. I want Zebras. That's who I want.
Exactly. And your brother scored, let's call it 53 more points than Bills Mafia last week. You're right. Bills Mafia Matt's going to win this one. If I personally was Matt, I would not want to have the best record because we all saw what happened to him last year. And I would not want to repeat that. I would not want that luck. So yeah, I would definitely want to go in 5th and play whoever's at 4. I mean, his team's putting up a whole bunch of points and his team's looking pretty good. I mean, he's 10-3. So yeah, it's going to be great for him. Next up, we have the Illuminati 9-4. He's ranked 6th. Versus Vlad Jr. crew. He is 10-3. He's on a 7-game winning streak, I believe. And I'll let you talk about Vlad Jr. crew.
Yeah, I think I voted myself to have the game of the week against my brother, but I might change it because I truly think that this one now is the game of the week. And here's why. Illuminati won the Pandian division in the first year in existence. Vlad Jr. crew won it last year. The other thing, when I look at these guys career record wise, Vlad Jr. right now is a 4-3 edge over the Illuminati. When I was talking about that team that's made the playoffs every year, it's Vlad Jr. crew. He made it twice before. He's going to make it again this year. Both these teams on a very hot winning streak. I think Robert was a candidate for the Hugh Jackson Award, but with his success here and a Pandian division title, there's no way that Robert should win the Hugh Jackson Award. That's just my opinion on the voting when you guys go to vote. I think this one's going to be a thriller to watch. I think a lot of it is going to be driven by how well Brady can do against Buffalo for the Illuminati and how well Russell Wilson does for Vlad Jr. crew heading into Houston. It's tough to call. I'm going to give it to Robert. You know what? I want him to get the W here. I've given him a hard time all season long. And I just want to give him some positive vibes up there. And I hope he wins the division title here. And I'm going to pick him to win.
Yeah, it's going to be close. To me, it personally comes down to Bridgewater versus Detroit. What are they going to do there? If Teddy can put up some points, it doesn't matter how many touchdowns Brady throws against Buffalo. Yeah, I'm going to go with If Bridgewater throws up points, the Illuminati has it, and you're right. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be 10-4, and you can't really call him a Hugh Jackson winner if he's making the playoffs again. So that's something to look at as well. Next up, we have Agent Steele 10-3. He's ranked number 2. So that he's on a 6-game winning streak. So he's definitely putting up some wins here to make it to this point. Versus Randall Flag Football, who is 11-2, and this is a sibling rivalry basically.
Well, here's actually what I need to have happen to still win first place. So if Robert can beat Vlad Jr. and then Sabatica beats Orange Crush and I beat my brother, I get first place money. And that's a possibility, right? So, and the thing is why I matched myself up against Brian, maybe I didn't have to. Maybe he's already won the division easily. But I think having that outside chance of getting first place, I think is worth it. Plus, I honestly think I'm a contender for the trophy too. I think me and my brother are both contenders for the trophy. I think it's going to be a great game. I think my brother's been experiencing some injuries lately that are going to hurt him. I have to pick myself to win just because I believe in myself. But one thing that is going to hurt me, Ingram, COVID, Wentz on the bye, Devontae Smith on the bye, TJ Edwards, who has been kind of a tackling machine lately for Phillies on the bye. So that hurts me. I got some guys that are questionable as well, guys like Deebo Samuel, which could obviously hurt me as well. I'm picking myself to win because I think Big Ben is a liability on Brian's team. I could honestly see him putting up minus points this Thursday night. I hope he does. And I'm picking myself to win and hopefully getting first place money.
Yeah, I mean, you also have Mayfield in the lineup, so he can also get you negative points as well. I think it's gonna be a close one. I think NFL has it as 11-point difference, a little less than 11 points. Kind of looking at your two teams, for both teams, Philly's on a bye, kind of hurt you. That Indy's on a bye. If Carson Wentz was playing, I think he would definitely win this one. But with him on a bye, I think it's gonna be close. And I'm gonna go with you as well. I'm gonna think you're gonna win this one. And yeah, but it's gonna be close. Definitely win if Wentz plays. But your brother also did put up 320 points last week, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, he's had a good year. There's no doubt about that in Dynasty. And I mean, for me, the trophy's here, right? We know the trophy came this year. It's at my house. I want it to stay at my house this year. And I want to win the Dynasty trophy, but whoever wins it will obviously get to put it on their mantle this year.
Yeah, if you don't win that one, and Susie doesn't make the playoffs in LOC one's going somewhere. It's leaving your house.
Oh yeah, it's leaving my house for sure, and it probably will go to the Cowboys fan, Brandon. But just like we saw last year, Bare Naked Lady should have won last year. He lost in the first round, got upset, opened up the door for me to win, and I'll be happy to pass the title after this year's winner.
Perfect. Well, buddy, I'll talk to you later. I'm excited to see how everything wraps up after Monday Night Football, and we'll get to the playoffs.
Sounds good, brother.
Have a good one.